Have a listen to this. It is one of the traditional sounds of England, church bells ringing. This is the sound of Stoke Minster ringing out across the city as part of the centenary celebrations last year. It might feel a little bit twee to say this, but you can't beat the sound of church bells.
It's a proper traditional English sound, isn't it? The sound of the countryside here, the church bells ringing out.
Yeah. Two traditional English sounds that you have to get used to: church bells ringing and football supporters crying.
Yeah, moaning away, yeah.
The problem is, the art of bell ringing is now dying out. The average age of people taking part is 60, but one musician from Newcastle-under-Lyme is doing her bit to reverse the trend. 27-year-old Sam Martin plays the saxophone all around the world, but in her free time, she teaches young people the art of bell ringing. And Sam's been telling me she's determined to change the image of the hobby of it just being for old people.
Well, I was very, very young when I started to learn to ring. And when I moved up to Staffordshire after uni, I discovered that there weren't any kind of youth bell ringing groups that were kind of organised and regular. And I've been teaching a couple of children and teenagers in my local tower in Madeley, and I wanted them to have an opportunity to ring with other young people from the region.
And you've seen it grow, and you've seen it develop, and you've seen it build. Has it surprised you, the interest that you've got in this, Sam?
No, actually. I think that it makes perfect sense that there's interest in this. The trouble with ringing is that there's a bit of a culture where it's seen like a bit of an old man's club. And that's problematic for lots of reasons. It's problematic sometimes for women who learn to ring and find that there aren't that many women. And then it's problematic for young people who want to learn to ring and find that a lot of people are much older than them. And I think for me, it's about trying to change the culture of bell ringing so that young people feel welcome and they feel like they've got a space where they belong.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because it was described to me before you came on, your bell ringing groups, as a safe space for young people. Just explain what you mean by that. Is it where people who are interested in it can just basically be themselves and meet other like-minded people doing a similar hobby?
Absolutely. In terms of feeling safe or feeling welcome, it's more about trying to make the atmosphere very inclusive. A lot of the children and teenagers that I ring with have special educational needs. Some of them have got autism, some of them have got ADHD, some of them are very anxious. And trying to create a space where they feel comfortable is really, really important. Somewhere where they feel included. Also, we've got quite a few queer young people who are adults who are helping teach the bell ringers, and it's about making sure they feel welcome as well. But yeah, it is somewhere that they can feel welcome. Children and teenagers, because they come from all sorts of backgrounds. We've got someone who rings with us who's actually in foster care, and the ringing room is, and then the bell ringers have become a bit like a second family in a way, somewhere that he knows he belongs and somewhere he knows that he can go wherever he ends up in life. And I said to him when he started, wherever you ring in England, wherever you end up in England, there's always going to be a bell tower in the local village or in the city, and you'll always be able to go there if you can ring well and you're polite. You can turn up and you can ring with them and you'll always be welcome for the rest of your life.
This is going to sound so ignorant, but I think a lot of people won't be able to grasp this. How difficult is it to learn?
It's very difficult. It's just like learning to play a musical instrument. Obviously, I'm a professional musician anyway, so I've been through that experience of being a child who didn't know how to play the piano or the saxophone, and now it's my job. I play the saxophone all over the country and in different parts of the world. And it's much the same with bell ringing. When you start learning, it's about the physical movement. You're trying to learn how to control the rope and to control a very, very heavy weight, which is, hung, a few ceilings above you. Some people call bell ringing the sound of mathematics, because each bell has a number and each number can only be repeated once in a row. So you might have numbers from 1 to 8 and each number can only be repeated once. And then you change the order of the numbers, but each number can only move one row at a time. And in bell ringing, we try and have it's called a true sequence of numbers. So we never want to repeat the same row of numbers. We always want each row to be unique. And on 8 bells, the maximum number of changes you can have unique with 8 bells is 5,040. And sometimes people ring a peal, which is 5,040 changes, and that takes 3 hours or 4 hours. So it gets very complex.
Yeah.
it becomes very complex mathematics.
But your priority with these groups now, with younger people getting involved, is you're making sure that the art, and it is very much an art of bell ringing, hopefully doesn't die out for generations to come.
Absolutely. I mean, I was kind of looking around, and because I ring with lots of people of all ages in my own bell ringing, and I was kind of looking around and I was thinking, in 40 years' time, there's not going to be that many people left for me to ring with unless I do something about this. Like, you know, a lot of the people that I ring with are retired, because as a musician, sometimes I'm free in the daytime. So I'm ringing with all these retired people, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, in 40 years, who am I going to ring with?
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, even selfishly, that's why I've taken an interest in teaching young people to ring. And I think that all bell ringers across the country should be making it a real priority to teach young people to ring the bells.
That is the brilliant Sam Martin. Do you know what? Whenever I've seen anybody ringing church bells, I've always thought when they get older, the rope effort, if I did it, it'd just pull me over and I ended up looking like a right wally.
The thing is, the mechanism does it all for you. I once had a ringing stone in the church there.
Did you?
Yeah, a little.
It's very middle class.
I did it for the radio. I went along to have a little crack at it, but a bit of campanology is what they call it. The art of bell ringing.
I thought it was the art of being camp.
Well, that as well. But yeah, so you pull on it and the mechanism does all the work for you. So you're not like really having to yank it to pull it. You just gently tug on it and it makes a noise.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sam Martin, the jazz musician and bell ringer from Madeley there, who's pushing to keep the art of bell ringing alive. The next meeting will be at St Giles's Church in Newcastle. Wonderful, wonderful place. This Sunday between 2 and 4.